Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And some of you probably thought about starting your very own sports podcast. Well, let me help you out. I want to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's an easy way to make a podcast, and it's free. You don't have to worry about paying a bunch of money each month. There are creation tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So it can be heard on apps like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So go to anchorfm.com and start your very own podcast today. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Hey, this is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and I want to take a minute to tell you about POW Audio. Now, POW Audio is going to change your listening experience. You're probably asking yourself, TJ, how is POW Audio going to change my listening experience? Because POW Audio has a revolutionary design, delivers a crystal clear and powerful sound in a collapsible Bluetooth speaker. That's right, collapsible Bluetooth speaker, and is designed for ultimate portability. So check out facebook.com, search POW Audio, or on their website, powaudio.com. That's POW audio.com.
One more time.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And welcome to the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. On this edition, we're going to be talking about what is going on with the New Orleans Saints and how can they fix the issue. And I'm also going to be taking your call and reading your comments throughout the show. So make sure that you're putting your comments down. And once again, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been a very interesting couple of days. Well, I don't even say a couple of days, but it ain't even really been 24 hours. Almost 24 hours. It's been very, very interesting. Just analyzing this team, figuring out what in the world is going on with the New Orleans Saints. How can they fix it, man? So many people have commented down on some of the posts that I post on the State of the Saints podcast, Facebook page, and on Twitter. And everybody has their own thoughts about what is possibly going on with this team. But we're going to dive into that, man. We're going to figure it out. And we're going to be talking about this team from all different angles here on this edition. We're going to be talking about the offense. We're going to be talking about the defense. We're going to be talking about the running game. We're going to be talking about the quarterback position. And I'm also going to be, once again, taking your calls. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the link down in the comments. So if you want to chime in, please do. All right, here we go. So I want to give a special shout out to everybody that's in the comments. Ram, Zoidy, Brian, Rico, Derek, Breeze Fan 12. Let's see who else we got. We got Robert, we got Dalton, got Earl, Justin, Sanchez. It's J187. We got Chanel in here. We got Saul. So thank you all very much. We got a lot of people filing in right now. And once again, the link is down in the comments. So if you want to call in, which I'm pretty sure that we should have quite a few people calling in, especially since, for some apparent reason, I guess I just became one of the biggest Drew Brees haters on this side of the Mississippi for reasons beyond me. It's amazing to me what happens when you start speaking some real, start telling some truth, and start telling people stuff they don't want to hear. You know, I'm not in a business of trying to please everybody because that's impossible. You know, I've been down that road, right? I mean, you probably been down that road. You ever tried to just please everybody? You tried to mold yourself in an image that you feel like everybody wants you to be? Yeah, I've been down that road, and I didn't really too much care for it. Look, let's go ahead and start with the offense. The offense of the New Orleans Saints has been stagnant, to say the least. It's pretty apparent that the New Orleans Saints miss Michael Thomas. All right. Michael Thomas is a very special wide receiver. He has very elite skills. He catches everything that Drew Brees throws to him, or any other quarterback of that matter. And I just think that he is the main issue with the offense right now. They are missing him because he is Drew Brees' utility blanket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he is his safety net. You know, he is the guy that if Drew Brees is in a tight squeeze, he can throw the ball, and 9 times out of 10, he know Michael Thomas is going to catch that football. The problem is he doesn't have that same type of energy when it comes to other wide receivers. I don't know if all those wide receivers out there are just as bad as the Saints make them out to be, but you come away from games and you feel like the Saints wide receivers are just straight up hot garbage. Like, I just don't get it. But we have some people filing in right now. I want to call in. G. Lewis, man. G. Lewis, what's going on, man? G. Lewis, are you there?
What's going on, man?
All right, how you doing, man? What you got for me?
Man, I don't know, man. I think receivers, I think they're decent. I think around the league, there's horrible receivers everywhere. I think we got a decent core. I just don't think we're I don't know, man. I looked at Drew yesterday, man. He wouldn't get the ball downfield. I don't know. I looked like there were some opportunities for him. He didn't take the shots, whether it was not there or a window closed quickly. I think we got to pull the top off, man. At some point, you got to go downfield. At some point, you got to take Emmanuel Sanders, go down and run an out route, just go and open up the top field, and then you have your dink and dunks later on. But we're not doing any of that, man. It just looked like we're just playing dink and dunk down the field. It worked for 27 points, bro. But at the same time, it's like it's not going to work every game. Linebacker core will be too good, and we're going to have to go downfield. I just don't know if we're able to do it right now. I just don't know why, man. Maybe Drew's time is up, but it look suspect.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about the loss of Michael Thomas? I mean, Michael Thomas, 149 receptions.
Yeah.
The closest receiver to him, was Jared Cook last season. I think the differential was 104 catches in between the two of them. So 149 catches, offensive player of the year, man. I mean, how important is Michael Thomas right now?
I mean, that's the guy. That's who we forced the ball to when he was double, triple cover. I mean, we didn't think about nobody else. The tight ends were the dump off guys when we had plays going on, or you ran the ball, or you ran a screen route. But Michael Thomas was your guy. Third down, he's your guy. I mean, he was all everything guy. So right now, I think Drew's searching. He don't trust nobody. You know, that's the guy he was going with. And so now you got to build trust with guys who just common like me and you out there playing receiver. It seemed like, but it's not. They better than us, but still. So he hasn't got there with Emmanuel Sanders. Hopefully this game sparks the Emmanuel Sanders trust, but he needs Michael Thomas out there as security. I throw the ball to him in that tight window, he'll make the catch, and I can get 5, 10, 20 yards from it and have that same trust with everybody else. Hopefully that'll come back. Michael Thomas come back next week, but, we'll see.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I know there's a lot of reports saying that Michael Thomas might come back this week, but look, I don't want to see him get rushed back. You know, I understand that the Saints are struggling right now offensively, but look, Michael Thomas is the guy that's going to be the leader of this team once Drew Brees retires. And whoever the quarterback is, they're going to be leaning and dependent on him in order for them to make plays. And I don't want him to be rushing back and end up being damaged goods prematurely. I mean, let's just be honest, man. Once you get around the age of 30, 31, that's when you start to become, quote unquote, damaged goods to teams. I don't want him to go ahead and, try to shorten his career by trying to come back, trying to win a couple of games. You know what I'm saying? That, I mean, the team got to be able to win with and without you. But G. Lewis, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Call back anytime, man.
Appreciate it.
All right. Gonna move on. We got Chosen, man. Chosen, what's going on, man?
What's going on, TJ, man?
Yeah, what you got for me, man? What you think the problem is with the New Orleans Saints right now?
It's simple, man. The same things we've been hollering about, man. We're not running the ball when we up and when we're supposed to. We get away from the play calling. We still not disciplined with the penalties, man. I feel like if some of those, even with all the flaws we have, man, I feel like if the penalties were minimized, I mean, let's just take 2 or 3 away, man. Like they not just random penalties, man. They crucial game moment, game changing penalties that put other teams in position to go up or take the ball game out. And another thing, man, I feel like we put all our eggs in the basket with Michael Thomas. I feel like we allowed him to become so much of a factor that we're crippled. You know how, like, you know, growing up in the South, man, you know how they say, man, you know, somebody taking care of you, but they always say, I'm not going to always be here to take care of you. I feel like, you know, like it's just like you raising somebody. You know, they never had to get a job. They never had to pay bills. You took care of them their whole life. And now once they pass away and move on, and now you out there in that world by yourself, you don't have no support because you was always, you know, leaned on somebody, always taking care of somebody. I feel like that's what happened with the Saints, man. We become a victim of that. And now we're trying to do the same thing with Kamara. You know, God forbid, or, you know, knock on wood, anything happen to Kamara, we're screwed, man. It's like we continue to shape game plans around the same 2 guys, and we forget that we have other guys. And I feel like we contradict ourselves. We say, oh, the Saints have the best offense. We have so many weapons. I can't tell. I can't tell. We have so many weapons. One man go down, the whole ship is gone. So I feel like, man, we didn't shake, and a lot of that got to do with, I guess, Sean Payton with lazy play calling. I feel like he had a game plan coming to this year that shaped around Michael Thomas for majority and Alvin Kamara. But like you say, things happen, unexpected things happen, that goes out the window, and now maybe he don't have the patience to reshape a new game plan for the season. Maybe he just want to plug in, you know, Deontay Harris and these other receivers and hoping they have the talent that Michael Thomas has to fulfill the goals, which Michael Thomas is a generational player. There is no other Michael Thomas. So you can't expect guys to do what he was born and blessed and gifted to do. So I feel like, man, is we're not disciplined. I think it's lazy play calling, and I feel like we become crippled. We become one-dimensional. So if we can fix those things, man, I see us getting back on track. But as long as we keep doing the same thing, man, it's going to be a long season for us, man. And we talking about making the playoffs. Hell, we may give up our division if we don't get a grasp of it. You know, I was telling somebody at work, man, the way we playing right now, I know you got your prediction show coming up, man, but I don't see us giving the Lions a run for their money. You know what I'm saying? Because they playing with heart. They might be losing, but they damn sure playing like they got way more to prove than we do. So we just gotta fix it, man. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, man. I mean, you make some very good points, man. And you know, I just think that sometimes we use different players as crutches. You know what I'm saying? And also those players can be enablers. You know, I feel like when Michael Thomas, it made Drew Brees and it makes Sean Payton be a little bit lazy when it comes to the decision making, you know, because they can always lean on him in order for him to be the guy that make plays. But I just thought they would be better off, you know, right now, you know what I'm saying, because I feel like you had a lot of young players and that would give them the opportunity to step up in the absence of Michael Thomas. But Chosen, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. We're going to move on to Earl. Earl, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Rough time, man. What's going on? Who that?
Man, who that, man? What you got for me?
Okay. The generics of the whole obligation to what Drew Brees is, I realized this because if you pay attention to what he had done last night, was that he has a trust issue.
Right. Well, Earl having little issues with his internet, man. We're going to have to move on. I'm sorry, Earl, man. We can barely hear you going in and out. Sanchez, man, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what you got for me, man? We talking about what's going on with the New Orleans Saints, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, honestly, if I could be real genuine, we've been asking this question for the past 4 years, have we not? We've been having these same issues with the back end. We've been having these same issues with the play calling. We've been having these same issues with Drew Brees' arm strength and lack of trust in other names as that's not AK, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, bro, I don't know, TJ. I'm trying. You tell me what's wrong with it, man. We've been having these same conversations this whole Super Bowl window. Long before, if they didn't get it after the Minnesota Miracle, and for sure after the no pass interference, should we start the rebuild now? I'm sorry, should we start it now?
Well, yeah, I feel like it's too late, man. I mean, the season already has started. I mean, you got to go with the team that you got right now. You know, I mean, if you want to talk about rebuild maybe next year, and honestly, it is going to be a rebuild next year. You got a lot of these guys that are familiar faces with the New Orleans Saints most likely won't be with the team because the Saints won't be able to afford them. They won't be able to afford some of those guys that we grown to know and love as members of the New Orleans Saints. So this season could be the last season we actually see this team intact. Me personally, you know, I have to agree with you, Sanchez. The thing is, I look at this 2018 team that they had. I think that's the best Saints team they ever had. I'm just being honest. I understand they won the Super Bowl back in 2009, but I feel like that was the best team that the Saints ever had. I feel like they were primed to win a championship. I feel like they would have beat the New England Patriots. A part of me, put my conspiracy theory hat on. I feel like the Los Angeles market, they just started out and they were trying to get buzz in Los Angeles. So all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, they had, the Rams go to the Super Bowl so they can create interest out there. That's what I feel. And I feel like the Saints were a victim of that. But I do think that this after this season, they're probably going to try to rebuild this team, man. I don't see some of the same players coming back. And I definitely don't see Drew Brees coming back to be in a Saints uniform. I think is over for him. He already signed this deal with NBC. I think the writing is already on the wall. I don't feel like NBC would have signed him to a contract, after retirement if he hasn't had a conversation with them about how long he's going to continue to play. So I just think the writing's on the wall, man. I think that the Saints need to just focus on trying to get better as a team right now. And there's no excuse why they shouldn't be a good football team. I mean, it's basically the same players they didn't have for the last 3 to 4 years, maybe 1 or 2 different pieces. I just don't get it, man. But Sanchez, man, I appreciate it, man. You call back anytime, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, sir.
No problem, man. Gonna move on to Josh and Jesus, man. Josh, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? So I'm gonna do 2 things here. First, I'm gonna walk back a little bit of what I said last night about Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
We both agreed that he's basically become Mr. Checkdown, and he really doesn't get down the field no more, any of that.
Right.
But I got to thinking about something I said to you, and not to toot my own horn, but I said something to you a couple weeks ago, that Tom Brady has been getting the Patriots to the Super Bowl on checkdowns for 20 years. So if Brady can do it, so can Brees. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because Brady has always been that guy that only goes downfield a few times a game. The only time he ever went downfield on a regular basis is when he had Moss for those couple years. Other than that, it's 3-4 times a game at the most. Right. Everything else is 5 to 7 yards, and that always has been. I mean, you've watched Brady play, you know that.
Yeah.
So if Brady can get him to the Super Bowl on that, so Brees can get us to a Super Bowl on that. Yeah. So I'm gonna walk back what I said about Brees for that reason. I'll let you cut in if you got something to say. But
yeah, Josh, let me say this, man. I get what you're saying. That's a very interesting point. The only thing I would have to say is I feel like even though Tom Brady was checking it down, he was a check down Charlie himself. He had a head coach in Bill Belichick that can be able to change game plans from week to week. You look at the New England Patriots, 1 week, they'll be a run-dominant team. The next week, they'll be trying to air the ball out. So I feel like Bill Belichick, even though Tom Brady was checking it down, he was able to create a formidable team around Tom Brady in order for Tom Brady to do what he does best, and the defense can be able to take up the slack. They'll be able to pick it up. When it comes to the New Orleans Saints, they don't have that. Like Sean Payton just going to run his game plan. He's going to do exactly what he wants to do, and he don't care what anybody else thinks. That's my only issue right there. Sean Payton is too stubborn at times to adapt. Bill Belichick goes from week to week. He tears up the game plan from last week. He just basically just throws it out the window. That's the reason why I feel like he goes out and gets all those smart, nerdy type players that score high on the Wonderlic test, because he wants those guys to be smart enough in order for them to adapt from week to week with the game plan. If the Saints had a coach like Bill Belichick, there's no doubt about it. They'd probably be in Super Bowl right now. But when you have a coach that just cannot get out of his own way, and he's coaching against two coaches, one, the opposition, and the other one is himself, we're going to continue to have the same issues. And that's why I feel like the Saints are in trouble, Josh.
Okay, so I know that there's only a limited amount of times that everybody gets to be on the call, so I want to jump.
Go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, like, I also think that neither – I mean, you keep hyping up Latavius, but I don't think either Latavius or Kamara are ever meant to be featured backs. I feel like they were meant to be backups to a guy like a Derrick Henry. But because one of them is being put in that position, I mean, Latavius did well last night, but, I mean, look how he did early. It was early last season before Bridgewater stepped in. Sean tried to use Latavius, and he was only averaging like 2 yards per carry or something like that when they actually made him the feature back for a while. So, I mean, Latavius doesn't suck, and obviously Kamara doesn't, but they're meant to be the backup to the feature back. Neither one of them is meant to be a major back. But I wanted to talk about the defense because the defense really sucks right now. And it seems like as goes Lattimore, so goes the defense. I've always noticed whenever Lattimore has a crappy game, like the defense has a crappy game.
Yeah,
I don't know if Lattimore just wasn't practicing in the offseason or what was going on, but he doesn't look nothing like the Marshawn Lattimore the last few years. So, I mean, if he don't get it together, then I think he's a bigger problem than Drew Brees right now is what I'm telling you. I think he's probably the biggest problem with the team right now.
Yeah,
because he expects him to be a superstar.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely not playing up to his potential. You know, I've said that. I mean, anybody knows me, know I love Marshawn Lattimore, but he has not been playing up to the potential that we feel like he has. And, you know, I just hope that they just can get it better, man. The only thing that we have going for us as fans of the New Orleans Saints is we seen this story before. Like, we seen this before. You know, they start off slow and then all of a sudden they start picking up momentum. But the only thing is, man, right now, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like they playing like how they normally would towards the end of the season, how they start sputtering into the playoffs. It's like they're playing like that right now. So that is something that's alarming to me. But thank you very much, Josh, man. I appreciate it, man. Call back anytime, brother.
Yeah, brother. Thanks.
All right, man. Take care. Hey, man, Josh and Jesus, man. Shouts out to my guy. Everett, man, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? I'm probably the last person you want to talk to, but it is what it is.
You good?
Yeah, because I kind of feel like it's too early to just jump off the boat and saying, "Oh Lord, you know, it's over with." I'm not going to sit here and be one of them guys. I'm not going to, because we have too much talent on this football team. We did play Aaron Rodgers' team that was on fire, very hot team. And I really think that Aaron Rodgers has a lot to prove. He's playing with a vengeance because of that. The fact that Loves is about to get ready to, to take his spot in the future. I think he's trying to prove something to his organization. But, one play, the Saints was going neck and neck with the Green Bay Packers. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's not act like the Saints got ran out of the dome. The bottom line is the Saints need the Who Dat Nation. They really need. They missed that energy.
Yeah.
If you look at the defense, the Who Dat Nation was not behind them. They didn't. It was like, and I'm not trying to make an excuse. The bottom line is bro,
I agree, Everett. I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying.
All NFL teams are going through it, but I see the Saints rely more on their fans than a lot of organizations. Them and the Seattle Seahawks, they really need their fans. It is what it is.
Right.
And we didn't play bad football teams. This year we're starting out the gate against teams that are even the Raiders. The Raiders are not a bad football team, and I just think the Saints has been exploited on the defensive backs. Drew Brees, Yes, he started off slow. You guys got me on Drew Brees on his lack of trying to go downfield, but I always said that I don't see a lot of guys that were getting open, that he was confident to throw downfield. And I think that Troutman, the guy that they got they drafted at tight end, they're not utilizing the young man.
Yes.
That could be a weapon for the Saints.
Yes.
That's I also was watching the Saints running game. The running game was devastating the Packers. We were devastating the Packers. And I take you back to me and your conversation when we were talking about Peyton Manning, the year that Peyton Manning got a chance to, win a championship. Peyton Manning was a great quarterback who team carried him.
Yep.
When is the team going to carry Drew Brees? And that's all I'm saying. And yes, Drew had made the bone interception last week, but man, don't get mad at the man for checking down to Alvin Kamara, going to his, playing out his progressions. I played quarterback. I know what he was doing. He's passing the ball. He's not trying to force it. He did try to go deep. Well, for those who saying he was not trying to go deep, he did a pump fake. He got smashed. He got smashed because, and then Andrews Pete got hurt. So there's a lot of things. I'm worried about Pete. We just gave that money to him. What the hell are we doing with that? I did not like that move. The bottom line is that's money that could have been used on some more defenders. I think the Saints lack more playmakers on defense. It scares me. Other than DeMario Davis, there was nobody out there on fire. Even Cam Jordan. Fans, when are we going to criticize Cam Jordan? Yeah. At the end of the day, no pressure. Aaron Rodgers sat back there in the pocket, was not touched, TJ, was not touched. Okay? So when are we going to sit there and hold our veterans like Malcolm Jenkins and guys like this guy accountable? Now, you know what I'm saying? So if we're going to criticize Drew Brees, let's criticize all of the veterans. And that's just what I want to do. I think that this team got a shot. And as I leave you right now, because I'm on the road, but I wanted to tell you, you're doing an excellent job. I'm a passionate guy. And, you're my partner. So at the end of the day, when me and you don't agree on something, that doesn't mean that's the end of the world because we don't agree on a certain situation. I just don't believe the team. I don't think it's over with. I think we get stronger at the end. I think the fans going to get a chance to come back. And I think the Saints are going to come back and make a run for it. And I just, y'all might say I'm the super fan. I don't like to criticize. Yes, I do. If y'all don't know when I'm mad on a Sunday and I'm just in there cursing or Breeze out cursing everybody out. So I just want to keep doing what you're doing, bro. You're the baddest out here. Keep doing what you're doing. You keep me fired up. You know what I'm saying? You have a nice one, brother.
All right, man. You be safe on that road, man. Thank you for the analysis, brother. We're going to have to get together again, man. All right, man. Shouts out to everyone, man. He out on that road right now, and be careful, my brother. Big E, K Scott, what's going on?
What's happening, TJ? What's going on with you, baby? How you doing today?
Nothing much, man. How you doing, man? What you got for me, man?
Oh, man,
what's going on with the Saints?
I just walked in, and see that you went live. I said, let me go ahead and call my partner TJ a call. Man,
I appreciate that.
Trust me. As a true Saints fan, I'm talking about all the way since the Dog Patrol and all that. I'm upset, but I do see progress. And there's a whole bunch of variables that happen in the game Sunday night. Whole bunch of variables. I'm talking about our secondary. No confidence at all in their own skill. Like they don't trust each other. They don't trust each other. First, you acting confident when you got something to prove. Yep. Don't act confident when you got something to prove. You're supposed to be confident in your skills, but you're supposed to have a chip on your shoulder. So you know what? We're going to shut everything down. Nothing getting past us. And I don't see that confidence. I see that lack of data. So that comes from coaching. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Sean Payton, he really got predictable. He got so predictable on his play calling. Like, they know exactly what he's going to do. Yep. And it's proven a fact. You got to switch up. The reason why Bill Belichick, the way he's not predictable, he played the game. Bill Belichick played the game the way that Jordan played the game when he was playing basketball. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna take what you give me. Yep. You gonna stop my passing? I'm gonna eat you up on a run. You gonna stop my run? I'm gonna eat you up on passing. Soon as you start getting comfortable with it, I'm gonna hit you up with something else. You gotta play the game like chess instead of playing the game like it's checkers.
Checkers. Yep. Yeah, I agree, man. I feel like anybody that's comparing like Sean Payton, I know with Josh, you know, I mean, he made some great points. That was the only thing that I disagree with him with when it comes to like the way that Bill Belichick coach compared to what Sean Payton actually does. Sean Payton is just, he's stubborn, man. I love him. I think he's the greatest coach that ever coached the New Orleans Saints. I mean, that's without saying. But he is very, very stubborn. And I feel like he has reached a point where he knows that he's the greatest coach that the Saints ever had. So how could we possibly tell him anything, right? Because y'all wasn't nothing before I got here. That's his mind frame, in my opinion. And he carries himself that way, especially when it comes to his play calling. Like, who are you to undermine me? But I'm just saying, man, you can do two things here. You can continue to coach the same way that you've been coaching since the beginning and not being able to adapt. And the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to end up losing your job, end up going somewhere else. You got to be able to change with the times, man. You know, you look at somebody like Andy Reid. Andy Reid has become more successful with Kansas City because he has changed the way that he does things. I mean, Andy Reid, I mean, it was the Brian Westbrook show back, you know what I'm saying, back in the day, right? It was McNabb to Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? That was the show. That was the show out there in Philly. Yep. That was the whole show. Man, he's throwing the ball down the field, man. He's being more exotic. He's going to these high schools. He's going to these colleges. He's talking to these coaches. He's looking at different plays to implement to bring to Patrick Mahomes in order for him to be successful as a quarterback and that offense to be successful as an offense. Sean Payton needs to do the same thing, but I just feel like he's just too full of himself, man. And I think that's costing the Saints right now.
That is true. That is so true. Now, watching the game, of course, we caught some real horrible passes, like that horse collar, totally Phantom call. Right. That was, even the announcer said that was totally a bad call. Then the illegal block on Taysom Hill, that was another bad call. The call about that. And you know what? People don't realize sometimes that is a confidence breaker. Like if a team rolling, then all of a sudden you get hit with a bad call like that, then all of a sudden it's like a snowball effect. Just like when let's say with that horse collar play, that was just only a 5-yard play, but it turned to a 20-yard play because of the penalty.
Yeah.
Now the defense they're looking at it and saying, all right, how can we tackle now? Because we saw that he did a legal tackle. Now they paranoid right now. They don't even know how to play right now. So that's a totally confidence booster. It was some horrible play, even though we did put ourselves in some bad positions, such as the kickoff. Come on now, you've been on special teams since you probably started. You know you should have hurried up and got back on that field. But he gonna wait till he run halfway down the field to get back in there. Come on now, you're killing yourself.
Yep, bad technique, man. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong with this team. And we all know when it comes to the referees, I mean, you ain't about to get nothing from them if you're a Saint. At all. So, you know, it's enough you have to play against them. You know what I'm saying? You got to play against the opposition. Now you got to play against the referees, too. So you got to take it out of a lot of people's hands here, man.
Yes.
But Big Easy, man. But I got to go ahead and let you go, man. I got a couple more people on the line.
Appreciate it,
man. Problem. Call back anytime, man.
You got it, brother. You got it.
All right, take it easy. All right, man. With K Scott right there, Big Easy. We're gonna move on. How you doing? I'm sorry, I can't see your name. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, my man.
Yeah, man. What's your name? I'm sorry.
Right, man. Darite.
Okay, Right, man. I appreciate you calling in, man. What you got for me, man? We talking about the Saints. What's going on with them?
For sure. First of all, TJ, man, I appreciate your show. All the way in Orlando, Florida. Love what you do, man. Keep it up, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. What do you think about this? Okay, what do you think about this Saints team, man? I mean, offensive, defensive. What's going on with them, man? What's the biggest issue with the New Orleans Saints?
Based on what I'm seeing, you can tell that the confidence and the team is totally shook. All right. Mm-hmm. And we're going into it with this mindset that we're not the underdog.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, maybe our approach should be like we did when we had Teddy Bridgewater playing the game. Peyton coached a very cautious game, but he was directing what he was trying to accomplish.
Right.
And that's from an offensive perspective. When Teddy had the ability to make passes, the passes were accurate, they were direct, and he knew exactly where he was going.
Right.
Due to the fact that Drew Brees have taken a step back, maybe Sean should have that approach as far as the offense is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to the defense, let me tell you something. Our defense is a good defense, but the problem is the confidence that we have back there on that back end is too confident.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say it's too confident is because, number one, you have to play to your highest potential at every aspect of the game. It's the NFL.
Right.
And you have to have in the back of your mind, not for long. Why PJ is there? God help me. I have no idea why PJ is there, why PJ still exists, especially when you got this kid that's on your practice squad that's much better.
Yep.
However, look, you have enough veterans on that other side of the field, whereas they don't need coaching from the cornerback coach to make a difference. They know how to play the game.
Right.
And you know what? I would put the responsibilities on those guys. Look, you guys know how to play the game. Do what you do and play the game. You know,
Right.
I don't have to coach you how to play man-to-man coverage. You came from Ohio State like that. So that's something I don't have to do. Jack Rabbit is a monster on that other side. If you think about it, they're not even picking on him.
Right.
I mean, to be honest,
They're not. Yeah,
they're not even picking on Jack Rabbit because they know this dude plays the game to take it back to the house.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
So
if I had
I'm gonna
a
leave
choice,
that right there, man. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, the right, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man, for listening and watching all the way in Orlando, man. You take it easy, all right?
Alrighty.
All right, take care. Yeah, man, the right, man. He makes some very interesting points. I think everybody that called made some very good points when it comes to this team. And I mean, I'm behind this camera, you know, and I talk, you know, on this mic, and you know, you hear my perspective all the time, man. But every now and then, you know, I like to hear your perspective. You know, I mean, I don't want to just sit up here and not give people their space. You know, I feel bad because the last couple of shows that I've had, I didn't feel like I was paying that much attention. I won't say I wasn't paying that much attention. I was, but I feel like I want to give you all, you know, I mean, I want to give you all the floor, man. I mean, this is very frustrating stuff right here. You know, this is very frustrating that you have a team as good as the New Orleans Saints. They have the same pieces that they had over the past couple of years. You would think that the chemistry would be there. And I think that Everett hit the nail on the head. I think that this team cannot find their own spark. You know, some teams, you know, they need that crowd, right? They need that crowd to be cheering. They need that energy, you know what I'm saying, from the crowd to go inside of them. Rather you're away from them and you're hearing 60,000 people booing you out of the building, and you're using that as fuel to go out there and go out there and break their hearts. Or you're at home and you can cheer and revere, and you trying to put on. You know, it's hard sometimes for everybody to actually have that spark. And that's why I said at the beginning of the season, I even said it, man. I said this season right here, the fact that they're not going to have people in the crowd, the fact that you're not going to have a bunch of people cheering for you, you're really going to find out who the real good teams are. And the teams that are really, really good are standing out. Like you looking at the Seattle Seahawks right now, Russell Wilson playing on another level. You got Patrick Mahomes out there coming back in Los Angeles. I mean, you got Lamar Jackson out there in Baltimore. These teams are starting to show and flex their muscle, and they're showing you that they are better than the other teams. And I feel like the New Orleans Saints right now, I feel like they need way too much in order for them to be up and be game. And that's not what symbolizes a great team. What symbolizes a great team is, one, not making all these mistakes. Number two, playing as a cohesive unit. And number three, most importantly, bringing your own fire. You know, my grandfather, for those that don't know, my grandfather is a preacher. And, you know, my grandfather, when we used to have these programs, you know, we used to have these church anniversaries, usher anniversary, choir anniversaries, you know, he'll get up there every now and then. He'll say, don't try to come over to warm on my fire. Bring your own fire with you. That's what he would say. You know, like you have to bring something to get something. So I feel like the New Orleans Saints, they need to bring something in order for them to get something. You got to bring that spark. You got to bring your own fire. Don't be trying to warm up next to the next person. Bring your own fire. Bring your own spark. Bring your own passion out there to the field. You don't need a bunch of people to cheer you in order for you to know how great you are. You're playing in the National Football League. There's not a human being right now that's a guy, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion, the majority of guys, that wouldn't want to be in that person's place. Rather, he's like the worst player in the National Football League. Rather, we say he sucks or he stinks. Some of us would trade places with that person in a second. They're living a dream. So the fact that you're actually playing in the National Football League is an honor. You know what I'm saying? You are the creme de la creme. And I feel like they need to carry themselves as such, and not carry themselves as such just by the way that they look on the field, but the way that they execute as well. That's very, very important, man. You don't have to look for other people to bring your own fire, man. Bring your own. Don't look for nobody else's fire, man. Bring your own fire with you. Bring that spark. Bring that passion. Bring that desire to win. Okay, I understand, man. It's a job, right? You know what I'm saying? Big contracts, big money, nice cars, beautiful ladies. You can go eat anywhere you want to. You know what I'm saying? You're looked at almost like a god in your local city. You know, I get it. But at the same time, man, it's about passion. It's about love for the game. That's what it's about. It's rather you have it or you don't. Chosen says the NFL knows the Saints are a threat to the Buccaneers and Tom Brady are winning divisions. So we have the super hard schedule, and they have a cakewalk. Yeah, they definitely try to get that schedule for Tom Brady, have him going up against powder puff teams in order for his team to get it together, for them to be in sync. So when the schedule starts to get hard, they'll be on the same page by that time. That's an excellent point. Jerry Port says, the State of the Saints podcast, TJ, why did we sign King Crawley back to the team? What is so special about the guy? It's just the familiarity of the him, you know, the fact that he came to the New Orleans Saints, back 2016, 2017, something like that. And they know him, you know, and everybody in the locker room, you know, especially in the secondary, people like Marshawn Lattimore, people like Marcus Williams, they love this guy. I think Marshawn Lattimore and King Crawley are like really, really close. So it's just the fact that he's familiar with the team. That's the reason why he brought him back. I mean, he's on the practice squad right now. And I don't see King Crawley playing nothing but special teams at most. I would be highly surprised if he hits the field. Darrell says, right, TJ. Chosen said, what up, Jerry? Tier 1 says, I honestly think we would be 3-0 with Mike Thomas. Yeah, I think so, too. He just got hurt, you know, early in the season. But like I said, man, look, this is the best time for it to happen if he was going to get hurt. I wouldn't want to see him get hurt late in the season. That's just my honest opinion. Hey, man, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, TJ?
Hey, man, what's your name and where you calling from?
My name Maul. I'm calling from Houston, but I'm from New Orleans.
Okay, man. What you got for me, man? We're talking about the Saints, man. What's the biggest issue in your opinion?
Man, I'm looking at the trade deadline. I'm thinking we need to go ahead on and probably try to trade either Andrews Pete or Marcus Williams and try to get somebody in that could play better guard play or play better safety play. And man, for years I think Sean Payton been hunting this team with not running the ball. Right. This stems all the way back from the Vikings game with the miracle. This stems back from the no call. Like if we'd have just ran the ball with Mark Ingram right there instead of throwing the ball on first down to Michael Thomas, I felt like we would have won that game. It would never even been a flag situation. With the Vikings game last year, well, I feel like injuries played a lot of big part in that. We could have used Davenport and we could have used Rankins and a full healthy Kamara, but we waited too long to adjust the Davin Cook with Dennis Allen, waiting too long to adjust the people and stuff. Right. But I feel like Sean Payton really, really is killing this team when it comes to the running. Like you say, man, he's probably the next Marty Schottenheimer had he not had that one Super Bowl 11 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, man. I just feel like Sean Payton sometimes out-coaches himself. It ain't even about the guy on the other side of the field. You know, I just think that even this game that just passed, I mean, you were running a football, 150 yards in the first half, and you run the ball only 6 times for 12 yards in the second half. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. And, you know, if you're running the ball, you're getting 3-4 yards a clip. Why are you still trying to go out there and trying to be exotic and trying to be sexy and coming up with all these special plays? Like, who cares? Like, who cares if you know that the defense know you're going to run the football? They haven't stopped you all day. So what that tell you? They cannot stop you. So why not keep on running the same plays over and over again?
And
we've seen it with the 49ers. I
was just about to say that. I was going to say Sean Payton need to treat Drew Brees like he's Jimmy Garoppolo, and we just need to do what the 49ers did last season and just utilize our backs and put the ball in our playmakers' hands.
Right.
And, you know, maybe Drew don't got the long ball no more, but he can at least, you know, just take shots and move the chains here and there when need be.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like there's a few things that's missing. There's a few things that's missing from this team in order for them to be that Denver Bronco, to be that San Francisco 49ers team. Now, you can – like, to me, the Saints are a better running team right now than they are a passing team. Like, anybody's watching these last 3 games, I mean, it's been proven. But they don't have a strong offensive line to like Denver had back in 2015 or what the 49ers had last season. And they don't have a lights-out defense that can get stops. You know, a lot of the times, like, they'll go out there, run the ball, control the time of possession. The defense will go back out there, force 3 and outs. The Saints don't do that, right? I mean, the defense go back out there, they probably be out there a whole quarter because they can't stop nobody. So, I mean, the long time that they out there on the field, the offense, if they did get in some type of rhythm, they're on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? They like the rhythm is getting off because how long they are on the sidelines in real time. So the Saints got to fix a lot of things in order for them to even be focused on teams like that, man. But I definitely agree. You got to take it out of Drew Brees' hands and become a more run-dependent team. But I feel like this. Like, I hate to say it, but when Andrews Pete went down, I'm sorry he got hurt. But when Cesar Ruiz came in the game and you had Nick Easton on the right guard side, I mean, the Saints running game was looking pretty doggone good. So maybe
our running game was looking good since the beginning of that game. To me, we just got to stick with the run. I feel like this team easily 3-0 had we just maybe put Marshawn Lattimore on Waller, just like they put Aqib Talib on Jimmy Graham with the with the Saints game a couple of years back on the tight end. I feel like we could have just ran the ball more this last game, and it'll easily, you know, just took possessions away from Aaron Rodgers. So that'd have been less flags happening to us. That'd have been. It probably would have never got into a situation where it'd have been a push off with the call. It probably never got into a situation where it'd been a horse collar because we're still in possessions from them. And that's just football 101. I don't know why Sean Payton can't get that through his head. And once you challenge him, that's when you're out of the door, just like Adrian Peterson did last time. When Adrian Peterson did it last time. And that's one dude I hope that we're going to be able to stop because I know he's going to want to, you know, give it to us again. But I'm not too much really worried about Adrian Peterson because he can't really catch out the backfield. Like any running back don't really scare me. What scares me is just good receivers and, you know, a good mobile quarterback that can extend the play because I think if we would have just ran the ball more, we would have definitely put us in way better position to win this game because they would have never put up 37 points, first of all. And then second of all, why not get the ball to the hot hand? We should have kept on giving the ball to Kamara. And whenever he do get tired, just use our bell cow with Murray. And Murray might be another trading piece that we might have to think about for the deadline because if Peyton not going to use him, we might as well get some goods elsewhere. And that's the only people I could see that we probably going to have to give up in the deadline is Murray, Pete, or Marcus Williams because everybody else is too valuable. And I don't know what the hell happened to Cook. I don't know if he got an injury or not because
he had a groin injury, man. He caught a pass on the sidelines. He came down kind of awkwardly, like almost like a little split or whatever.
When did that happen though?
It happened like in the second quarter. I saw when it happened.
So he never came. So he never came back in the game after the second.
He didn't come back in. Yeah, man. I mean, I saw it happen, man. I seen him like kind of walk gingerly, like when it happened. I was like,
and that's another dude. He always getting hurt when we need him in his big games. He did it in the 49ers game.
Yeah, but that 49ers game, that wasn't his fault, man. I mean, they target him. I mean, they didn't have an answer for him. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. They didn't have no answer for that guy. They had to lower the boom and get him up out of there. He would have ate all day. All day.
Yeah, that was one thing I was saying about. Okay, well, if Michael Thomas missed a couple of games, okay, we got a safety blanket with our tight end. Yeah, Drew Brees can't throw the ball down deep for Traquan or Emmanuel Sanders if they go deep, but at least he got his safety blanket to just move the chain. And then, you got maybe little slant routes, and, we probably could do a reverse to Harris or a screen to Harris, or, we could mix it up with Taysom. We got too many playmakers on this team. I guarantee you, if we had
Maul Baines, as his camera went out, man. He's making some good points, man. Shouts out to Maul right there, man. First time caller right there. Appreciate you, man. I'm sorry, man. Your service went out on that one, my brother. Hey, man, but you call back anytime, man. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and go back to the comments here. Let's see. Malik says, I'm so tired of seeing PJ Williams make this team. I don't get it. I don't get it. I know you can find other cornerbacks better than PJ Williams. I know you can. I know you can. I mean, you can move him to safety. In my opinion, I feel like, he might be a formidable safety, but why are they still trying to make this man play nickel? I don't get it. We have other weapons. Yeah, I mean, like Maul just said, I mean, we got so many other weapons. I mean, we got Deontay Harris. We got Taysom Hill. Traquan Smith, I feel like he can do some big things. I feel like Adam Trotman, they're not even using this guy. They're using this guy to block. Like, come on, man. Why are you trying to turn this guy into Josh Hill? Like, this dude can be really, really good. And I'm getting very, real nervous, man, because it seems like to me that the Saints aren't trying to utilize none of these young guys. Like, they're not trying to use none of these young guys at all. Like, anybody that they drafted, it seems like they don't want to try to use. That goes to show you right there the impatience of Sean Payton, in my opinion. Like, you're too impatient to even try to get these guys coached up in order for them to go out there and make some noise. Like, come on, man. Like, there's no excuse why these guys can't go out here and get no passes. Or Zach Bourne, we haven't seen him, at all. I don't think he even played at all, for the exception of special teams. It just seems like to me he doesn't even have the patience. It's like we had a short season. Look, these guys aren't going to be coached up, so we're going to put them on the side. We're going to redshirt them. Like, get these guys coached up. Get these guys involved. TJ, I'm very proud of your success. I do miss the smaller shows when it was just a few of us. Yeah, Tier 1, man. I appreciate it, man. Look, man, I appreciate it. It's for people like yourself, man, who've been holding it down since day one. It's the reason why the State of the Saints podcast has grown to be what it is and continuously grow, man. So, man, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Y'all been holding it down with me for a long time. Before I was even behind the camera, I used to just do the little recordings and do the little slideshows and stuff like that, man. Y'all been holding it down since then. So I'm forever blessed. I know I just had this conversation. It's funny. Yeah, this guy that reached out to me and said that he feel like because of the success of the show, that I've become cocky and I'm full of myself. I'm like, man, look, anybody that know me personally, anybody that know me or been around me or see how I act, I'm the furthest thing from cocky. I'm confident even saying that. Look, I do this for the 2 people that are in the other room. I do it for my wife and I do it for my son. That's who I do it for. And I do it because I love what I do. You know what I'm saying? I love talking about the New Orleans Saints. I've been a Saints fan since I was 4 years old, and I'm passionate about that. I mean, that's why I do it. If I come off as cocky, I mean, I apologize, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I just love what I do. And, I try to bring as much energy as I can every single show. I try to bring as much passion every single show. So, but it's for people like Tier 1 and Jerry and Josh and, you know what I'm saying? And Bobby Cross and Chemo and my boy Chosen, like so many other people, man, who have been supporting this show from the beginning, man. And always holding me accountable. Shouts out to Dexter, man, who always inboxing me. Dex, like we doing the show tonight. And Brian Pearson, always reaching out to me, man, giving me, you know what I'm saying, motivation, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, Ghostface, always with the optimism. It's people like that keep this show going for me, that keep me trying to bring the energy, man. I love y'all, man, for real. And I'm happy for the growth and the success of this podcast. Shalonda, Chanel says, definitely not a cocky person, far from it. Man, shouts out to Shalonda, man. Now, I feel like that's a little bit of bias right there, man, because that's my homie from Jackson State right there. Shalonda, what's going on, man? And shouts out to Shalonda, man. But, yeah, man, I do it because I love you. And like I said, man, every single morning I wake up, man, and my son, he sleeps in our bed because he don't want to sleep in his own bed. I wake up and I see my wife and I see my son. That is the motivation I have, man, to get up. And no matter how tired I am from, you know, I drive like an hour to go to work at the radio station. I'm leaving the house at like 4 a.m. to get to the radio station and be able to be there in front of the mic at 6 a.m. But that is my motivation. That's why I aspire to be the very best I can possibly be. You know, that is my motivation. I love those two. And I love you all. I love talking about the Saints, man, so I appreciate it. Dwight says, TJ, I think Drew Brees needs to split the quarterback position and Taysom Hill, and he will not get a Super Bowl alone. So you talking about a mixed bag here. Yeah, I do think they need to implement Taysom Hill a little bit more. Look, it happens, folks. People fumble the football, but I'm not going to give up on Taysom Hill. And I said this morning on the podcast that I would have done the same exact thing. Taysom Hill, we haven't seen him fumble the football on an RPO. You know what I'm saying? So let's not just crucify the guy and just write this guy off and say that he sucked. Let's stop waiting in front of the TV because we got like certain biases towards players and the player that is standing in the way of the player that we like. Let's stop staring at the TV and hoping that they fail so we can just go ahead and start typing and saying, I told you so. Taysom Hill is a really good weapon for the New Orleans Saints. I would have ran that play because the same folk that was out here criticizing Taysom Hill, in my opinion, were the same folk that's saying why the Saints didn't keep him in a game, in a wild card game when Drew Brees fumbled. So we can't have it both ways, folks. I mean, I understand it's the passion of the game. We want the Saints to win, but let's not write people off, man. It happens, man. I mean, he fumbled the football, but I would have run that same exact play. I got that type of respect and love and hope and Taysom to make plays. Chiefs, even though his number one receiver is a dirtbag who abuses his family. I'm talking about Tyreek Hill. Yeah, man, I'm not down with that. You know, I mean, some very questionable behavior by Tyreek Hill, to say the least. But Shelton Slack said, do you think it's time for a complete coaching staff makeover? No, not yet, Shelton. No, not yet. It's not like we're on some Dan Quinn Atlanta Falcon type stuff, you know. It's just the fact that Sean Payton is a little bit arrogant, man. I just feel like sometimes he just outcoaches himself. And I think that he needs to go back to the drawing board, man, and, understand if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The running game was really working in this game. It was really working, and he got away from it. And that's what cost the Saints the victory on last night. State of Saints podcast. TJ, you my dude. I appreciate you, my brother. Jerry, I appreciate you too, man. That's the OG of the State of the Saints podcast. Ghostface says, I've always checked out TJ's podcast, and he's the same old dude. Yeah, I mean, I try to be, man. You know, I mean, if my behavior changes, I guarantee you it has something to do with me actually observing something that I do, and I try to change it or try to work on trying to become better. I feel like I've become better as an interviewer. Like the first interview that I did with Johnny Shazer, I'll be honest with y'all, my family, I was nervous as hell. Like I was nervous. And not to mention with Zach Strief, oh my goodness, I was like really, really nervous. And I went back and I looked at those interviews. And, as time went on, I found my groove, So anytime, like, it may seem like I'm, like, man, who you think he is? But it's just the fact that I just tried to deliver my words and I try to give you all the best analysis possible. It has absolutely nothing to do about being cocky. I'm gonna be real with you. That kind of bothers me because I know it shouldn't, but I don't consider myself to be that way at all. I don't want to even be perceived to be that way. People, if y'all know some of the things that I've been through to get to this point, man, I'm far from it. Like, I'm far from it, man. Like, so that really does bother me, man, because people see me sitting in front of this camera and they just, come up with their own interpretation of me, or they go on social media and they see me say something that they don't like and they have their own interpretation of me. But look, man, unless you really just get to know who I am, the things that I love to do, like the best thing I love to do is spending time with my family. Love spending time with my family. I like documentaries. I like some All the Saints. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, I like Hot Sauce on French dress. You know what I'm saying? like I'm just, that's just who I am. Man, respect, TJ. I appreciate it, Chemo. Anthony says, whole team's under 30 points. Yeah, man. They've been scoring a lot of points. It's just the fact that they can't stop nobody right now. Derek says the biggest remedy to the Saints team right now is a win. And I hope that they get it without Michael Thomas. Yeah, that would honestly, that would boost the confidence of the Saints tremendously. And I think that we all can sit up here and really be proud of the fact that the Saints have scored 30 points without Michael Thomas. I think that's something to be proud of. In the last 2 games, they scored it, right? They scored 30 points in the last 2 games without Michael Thomas. Lattimore right now playing like the worst corner in the league. Yeah, he is. I can't even lie about that. He looking horrible out there. He looking like hot garbage. I will admit that. Is Cam hurt or not telling anyone? I think Cam falls in that category what I was talking about earlier about bringing your own fire. I feel like Cam Jordan is one of those guys that feed off the crowd, and I feel like that's one of the things that is affecting Cam Jordan's production right now, because I feel like he's not that guy that brings his own fire. I could be wrong, but until he proves otherwise, that's what I'm going with. Shelton says, what's going on with Cam Jordan? He's all of a sudden becoming extinct like dinosaurs. It could, like I said, it could be the crowd. It could be the fact that he's in his 30s now. He's going into his 10th season. We're talking about Father Time being undefeated with Drew Brees. With quarterbacks, they have all these different rules and that's in place in order for them to play for a long time. They don't have those rules when those guys in the trenches like Cam Jordan. So who knows? Kirk Thompson says, is it me or does the chemistry of the entire team seem a little suspect? Cam Jordan looks as if he has no confidence, and Sanders kind of blew Drew Brees off on the sideline. Yeah, man, I honestly don't know, man. As much as I like Emmanuel Sanders as a player, I just get weird vibes from this dude. Like I feel like that was very un-Saints-like when he went on ESPN First Take and he brought like the I guess like the First Take crew into the Saints locker room. Like we all know the Saints don't operate like that. Like the Saints don't want you to be telling what they do in the locker room. They don't want you to know about the conversations they have as a team. And I don't know, man. I just feel like he's more focused on being front and center sometimes. I like him as a player, but I feel it's a fine line between being cocky and being a jerk a little bit, man. I feel like sometimes like that was like jerk type behavior right there. And I feel like you have to be a team first guy. Like I feel like by you going up in there and telling Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman and Molly Carroll about what's going on in the Saints locker room, that was to try to get you in the good graces of them. Because you like 33 years old. I'm pretty sure you're going to be working on the NFL Network or ESPN, one or the other, because he's a articulate brother. You know what I'm saying? He's an articulate brother. He does, he's a really good podcaster. I'm checking out his podcast, but I just feel like that's not Saints type behavior right there. That's something that I noticed from him. And I feel like that might have something to do with it. Sean Payton seemed like the type of guy, if he can't control you, he will keep you. Yeah, man, anybody that's outspoken, as much as I feel like Junior Gillette, I mean, he's not doing himself any favors on Twitter. I feel like Junior Gillette was one of those guys. Brandon Cooks was another guy. Akeem Hicks is another guy. It seems like anybody that's outspoken or speak up for themselves, he hurry up and get them up out of the door. He labeled them distractions. Yeah, we lost last night, but let's not forget the Falcons blew another 15-point lead. Yeah, that is true, man. But in the process of it all, I mean, they did blow a 15-point lead, but I'm more concerned about the Saints actually winning the game right now. I mean, it's funny, but it would be even more funny if the Saints were actually in the catbird seat, in the words of Shannon Sharp. TJ, you can't be liked by everybody. There are haters everywhere. Yeah, that is true, man. But, one thing that just bothers me when people have their overall interpretation of you and they don't really even get to know you. I remember one guy told me, he's like, I don't even have to know you and I don't like you. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Just imagine how many great people you're missing out on getting to know because you don't want to take the opportunity to have conversations with people. You should never want to be that way. Chanel, shouts out to you. Defense got to stop the penalty, especially on third down, but overall penalties nonetheless. Yeah, I agree with that, man. They definitely got to stop these boneheaded penalties out there, man. It's getting ridiculous right now. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get why they doing that. Marcus Williams is horrible. I don't want to say horrible, but he definitely not playing the way I thought he would at the beginning of the season. I thought maybe the help of Malcolm Jenkins being out there might help him. But it just seems like, I don't know, man, he just can't tackle. Every time the opposing quarterback cocks his arm back and launches the ball with everything he has, I'm 100% sure every Saints fan heart sinks because they know one or two things will happen. I guarantee you, man. Like, and it's so dramatic because when a quarterback throws the ball down the field, the cameraman just slowly starts gliding the camera down the field, and you like, he'll just give you that brief moment to take a deep breath because you know something good is not going to happen. Cheap and deep, as I say. Anything cheap and anything deep. A moment of silence for the Atlanta Falcons. Bow, that is. Anthony, me too. We catching a rhythm. We juicy. Got to stop letting the refs stop controlling the game because we had the game last night. Yeah. We got to stop putting it in the hands of the referees and we got to start controlling our own destiny. And that's the way the Saints are going to start winning football games. But I hate to say it, as long as they're being conservative offensively and as long as the defense can't get stops, we're going to continue to be in phone boot type games. That's the way the Saints offense is structured. Like, look at all the games that happened last year. All of them was almost down to the wire, nip and tuck, make sure that you call the plays the right way. Make sure that you make the right penalty calls. As long as you're playing like that, you're going to continuously have the same issues. You're going to always have that. Chris says, I just hope the Saints have gotten all the bad games out of their system for the rest of the season. Yeah. But as of right now, they only lost 2 games, folks. Like, it's no real time to panic. I mean, it's some times to make adjustments. Of course, they're losing. But let's not just go ahead and just throw the season in the trash, man. Like, let's not just throw it in the trash. I believe they can right the ship. I think they got the right guys to do it. If this was like 2014, 2015, I'd be like, man, look, maybe we need to be thinking about tanking for Trevor Lawrence. But I feel like this team is made of the right stuff, and I think they can get the job done. Chosen says it seemed like Deontay Harris wasn't in the package this week, but in week 1, it seemed like Peyton had all kinds of things. I guess he's saving them for Mike Thomas' return. Could be. And maybe, the fact that Michael Thomas does so many other great things that we don't even pay attention to, that takes, a lot of plays out of the playbook. Like we heard Sean Payton in the NFC Championship game back in 2018, when Josh Hill went down, he said he had to cut about 43 plays out the playbook. So maybe it has a lot to do with not only Michael Thomas being out there as a receiver, but also as a blocker, and also, as a decoy downfield. So it kind of takes away some of those plays too. We got to keep that in mind, man. I mean, Michael Thomas, he deserves a double team, and he will get a double team. So that frees up a lot of guys for one-on-ones. So maybe you'll start seeing that. That's a good point, Chosen. Go Tigers. Oh, man, don't get me started on LSU. You think Jameis Winston could make an appearance if the Saints continue to struggle? At very least, he can stress the defense. Yeah, I think you would, Go Tigers, if it gets real ugly. If we're talking around week 6, week 7, and we're still dealing with the same issues, you're probably going to end up seeing Jameis Winston. I don't see why not. I mean, if you already looking like a dumpster fire, why not? You know what I'm saying? Let him go out there and try to generate some type of spark. But I think that Jameis Winston, I think the best place for him is on the bench. I think that he has the opportunity to learn and see the field from different angles and be in a position he has never really been in his entire career, and that's sitting on the sideline getting mental reps. He's always been the guy. So maybe this will actually do him some good, and also it'll help to regenerate that fire in him, man. The fact that you actually have something taken away from you, like a starting position. So when you do get that starting position again, you'll have a different level of appreciation for it. So I think the best place for Jameis right now is sitting on the bench. Do you think Tampa Bay going to win a division? I still think the Saints going to win the division. I think it's going to come down to those two teams, but I don't think Tampa going to win the division. You look like Lamar Odom, TJ. I hope not. I hope not. I hope I'll look like Lamar Odom. Lord knows. I don't. That's kind of insult right there, man. Are we talking about Los Angeles Clippers, Lakers, Lamar Odom? Or are we talking about Kardashian Lamar Odom or something? I guess if you say I look like Clippers Lamar Odom, I guess I won't feel insulted. But if you start talking about Chloe Lamar Odom, nah, I can't get down with that. I think we need to call up Earl Thomas. What you think, TJ? Well, Peyton, I think that Earl Thomas is talking to the Houston Texans right now, so he might end up being a Houston Texan. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to keep him in that building. I mean, it's not Dallas, but it is Texas. He wanted to play for the Cowboys. Cowboys never called him. So, I mean, the next best thing is the Houston Texans, so we might not be able to get him. So true, TJ. Enough with the Jackrabbit nickname, bro. Nah, I disagree, man. We can't just look at Janoris Jenkins in one game and just be like, oh man, let's take his name away from him. Like we cannot judge these guys from down to down, because everybody was screaming and cheering when he got the pick six. Man, Jackrabbit. And all of a sudden he give up a pass interference call, and now he sucks. And last week, that Henry Ruggs pass down the field, that was some garbage. First off, the pass was uncatchable, and it wasn't even pass interference because both of them was hand fighting down the field. So, nah, I'm not gonna let people do that to Jackrabbit, man, because we basically sometime loving this man right now, summertime loving. All right, we can't love people from down to down. And Jackrabbit, more times than not, has done a great job. You can arguably say he the best member of the secondary. I think Marcus Williams is an okay safety as long as we can bench him if the game is on the line. Man, I enjoy your podcast. Unfortunately, haters follow greatness. Well, I don't feel like I'm great or anything like that, man. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I just love what I do, and I just feel like passion can't be denied. It's just certain things, man. It's like when you hear a great singer or you hear a guy that's flowing, like you hear a guy that's rapping, or you hear a person that's delivering lines for a play or in a movie. Like, you can feel the passion if they're really passionate about it. And I'm passionate about this. And I feel like that's the reason why this show has become successful, because of passion. The passion that I feel every time I do this show, the passion that the comments that I see, the passion from the people that call in, the passion for the people that share these videos, in order for me to be able to go out here and be able to talk to some wonderful people, man. So I think that's what it is. I mean, I wouldn't say great at all. I say passion. Passion is what's driving the State of the Saints podcast right now. I mean, I'm loving this momentum. You know, we don't need no crowd noise for this. Bro, TJ, most of the people fake fans and only support when it's all good. Yeah, that's true. You know, and I think people get that misconstrued with me too, official. You know, I feel like people think, oh, I'm just criticizing the Saints, man. But like I said, man, I look at everything. I mean, I was criticizing the team when they won against Tampa. You know, because I wanted them to get better. And people was like getting mad at me for that, which I don't understand, because it's all about getting better. You know, so I don't know, man. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I could be wrong. There were times where I can be wrong. Like this morning, I was talking about Pete Carmichael. I said he never got the opportunity at a head coaching job. And a guy, you know, he took it upon himself to go and snapshot some pictures to tell me how wrong I am. Like, congratulations. You know, I don't care. You know, I'm not going to always hit the nail on the head, but I mean, I'm going to give you the best I can. Family Matters is on, and he kind of looked like Jaleel White. I've heard that before. I've heard Jaleel White. I've heard Roddy White when I used to have dreads. I've heard Thomas Davis. I'm serious. Like, since I'm out here in South Carolina, I was at Planet Fitness, and a guy started working out, came clean across the gym because he thought I was Thomas Davis. So, I mean, I've heard anybody that used to have dreads and was dark skinned, I look like. I heard Ace Hood. I mean, so many other people, man. You know, so. Man, I like Jack Rabbit. Everybody has bad days. I sure do. Yeah, man. Everybody do. Sean Payton thinks his play calling is cute, but it's not. Definitely not. Terrible. And it comes at some of the worst times. I feel like Sean Payton is playing offensive small ball. Yeah, I do too. Wait, TJ, you had dreads? Yeah, back in the day, man. Yeah, I had dreads for like 6-7 years. I cut them off when I turned 30. So I think I had them at 23, yeah, and I cut them off at 30, so about 7 years. Where Iceman T been at? Man, Iceman T called yesterday, and I guess, you know, he was kind of further back in the line of calls, and he didn't call back. Yeah, man, but shouts out to my guy Iceman T, man. Your crowd noise is your fan base. That's all you need, TJ. yeah, Shalonda. Man, shouts out to Shalonda, man. She from the Chi. Shouts out to her, man. That's my homie right there. That was some of the best moments. That was some of the best moments of my life right there, sitting on the Gibbs Green Plaza out there at Jackson State University, man, posted out there in front of the calf, man. That was some great moments right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Kev, my boy Jamie G, Chris Lucky. Oh, man. And those were my folks right there. Tanika, you know what I'm saying? All them folk, man. You know what I'm saying? Those were some good times right there, man. We used to sit out there and talk to about 2 a.m, man, just out there just BSing, acting a fool, man. Like, not to mention, like, if they had, like, a concert or something like that. Oh, man. Man, shouts out to Jackson State, man. Shouts out to, man. Shouts out to everybody who went to college. I'm pretty sure everybody got them college stories, man, where you just out there just chilling. Your friends out there, man. Y'all about 8, 9 deep out there. Everybody got them stories. TJ, you had dreads? Yeah, man. Yeah, I had dreads. You can check it out, Chosen, man. You follow me on my personal page, man. I'm pretty sure I got a picture up in there somewhere, man. Check them out. Where people funny. Let's see. I got told I was Lil Wayne by 3 girls. Oh, man. I mean, look. I think everybody probably had that one celebrity that somebody think that they look like. I think everybody has that. I've been preaching that we run the 49ers offense the past 3 weeks. We have the playmakers on offense to do it, and it can hide Drew's lack of arm. Yeah, that's true. But will Sean Payton be willing to do that is the question. LOL, man, you look like Dave Chappelle from The Nutty Professor when you take your hat off. That's a lie. Don't do me like that, man. I do not look like Reggie. That's the insult. Man, but shouts out to Reggie, man. Ironically, his name Reggie. And you going to tell me I look like Dave Chappelle or Nutty Professor and your name Reggie. Okay. Let's see. He got too comfortable with his players, but the team, but the team played better without him last season. Good point. Bear down. Shouts out to Shalanda out there, Chicago Bears fan. We coming to see y'all, man. That was a good move. Shouts out to y'all, man. Good job. Congratulations. Thank you for handling them Falcons for us. We appreciate that. Poor offensive play calling and defensive strategy. Secondary was crap. D-line wasn't putting any pressure, but Breeze also has blame. He had multiple players throughout last night's game that was wide open. Mighty Mouse, I appreciate you, man. I know you tried to call in, brother. You know, appreciate those that good analysis right here. Yeah, man, but I feel like at this particular point, man, it's low-hanging fruit talking about Drew right now. It is. It's just low-hanging fruit. It wasn't like you could talk about Drew Brees' lack of arm strength and some of the passes that he missed, but he wasn't the reason why the Saints lost last night. He was not. Okay, and I will just say that he was not. You know, I feel like the play calling and the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed was the reason. I be ripping them says, I'm telling you, the wall of farts will greatly help the offense. They need something, man. I'm kind of desperate right now. I be ripping them. I think we need to look at what I be ripping them talking about here. He might be on to something. TJ, what you think about Wayne being a Packers fan? I think that Wayne is real for that. Like, for real. Like, I feel like he was living in New Orleans. The Saints wasn't good at the time, so he found a team that was, you know, a good team, and he's been following them ever since. I ain't got no problem with that. Just like you have some Saints fans, well, not Saints fans, but some people from New Orleans who be Cowboy fans. I ain't got no problem with that at all. No problem. You know, I like that energy, man. Like, keep that same energy. I respect him. Like, he don't want to come over here now that the Saints winning. He don't want grandstand. So, yeah. So I'm not going to hate him for that. Shalonda says, don't shoot me. I love the podcast. Got my support. Now, look, Shalonda, man, I appreciate that. It's all love right there. Look, ain't no problem with that, Shalonda, you know, but you're just doing what you've been doing for years, man. I mean, I've known you, shoot. Let me see, about 14 years almost, you know, so you always been supporting, man. You always, everything I ever been to, man. I'm talking about from when I pledged and crossed, you know what I'm saying? She was at my probate, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that, man. Always supporting you, boy. So I appreciate you, Lonnie. Let's see. Ghostface says, I'll be ripping them. Yeah, man. Also, man, Tack. No mistaking with Tack McKinley, but Tack Robinson. Thank you for the $5. Says, I run the ball 20 times and Madden. We ran it 20 times last night, and Madden has 5-minute quarters. Man, I just played a playoff game where the Saints played the Cowboys, and I just had 20 carries for about 180 yards with Latavius Murray. You know what I'm saying? Because Alvin Kamara hurting my franchise. Knock on wood there. That's the only way I want him to be hurt, the way he's playing right now. But Tag, thank you very much for the $5, brother. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to read a few more, man. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here. I want to go check out that Kansas City game. Anybody got the score of that game right now? Kansas City, Baltimore. I want to check that game out. That should be exciting. 2 MVPs going at it. Michael says, who you got tonight? Chiefs or Ravens? Right on right on brand right there, Michael. And I promise you I didn't look at your comment. Honestly, I got the Chiefs tonight. I got the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are a really good football team. I think it's probably going to get interesting down the line. You know, I think it's probably going to end up being like one of those close games. But man, you can never count out Patrick Mahomes. You can't count out Patrick Mahomes. This is the last one. Shouts out to Joseph. Joseph says the reason the Saints lost was Sean Payton's arrogance. The defense has been an issue going all the way back to 2010. So changing coordinators will not change anything. At this point, I am convinced Sean Payton cannot put together a good defense. Yeah, man. I mean, some guys are so offensively driven that they don't even pay attention to the defense at all. And this has been an issue. I mean, this has been the same old song and dance over and over and over again. And hopefully, man, look, as long as we have a formidable defense, well, I don't even think a formidable defense is going to do it this year. They got to be a lights out defense. They got to be like going into like the end of the season and ranked in like the top 10 in order for this team to really honestly make some noise. But we've seen teams struggle, during the regular season and catch fire late. We looked at the Tennessee Titans last year. We looked at the New York Football Giants back in the day when they made their Super Bowl run. So, I mean, it's still early, folks. And not to mention, man, they got an additional playoff spot. So it's not like, they just got 6 teams. They got another team in there. And if you look at some of these teams around the National Football League, bruh, you look at the Eagles, the NFC East, ugly. So I think as low as the Saints can right the ship a tad bit, at least they can find themselves in the playoffs. So I'm not too discouraged by that. And let me shout out to Shamika, man. Shamika always on. I'm gonna make her be the last one. She says I'm late, but hey, y'all, I can't even talk football. It's so embarrassing with what we're dealing with. Yeah, I agree, Shamika. It's embarrassing, but like I said, the season is still young, and we can go ahead and right the ship. But I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to the State of the Saints podcast, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Also, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. You already know previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Go ahead and send me those snapshots of you following on a streaming app to put yourself in a running to win a State of the Saints podcast custom-made face mask, courtesy of maskmarket.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And also, man, check out powaudio.com, another sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Check out their Bluetooth speakers. Look, I was listening to the speaker a few minutes ago, man. I was listening to the review from last night's Clash of Champions in WWE. I'm telling you, man, it's a really small speaker. It can fit in the palm of your hand. It has a magnetic backing, so you can stick it to basically anything that's metal. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about it falling off. You can stick it to the back of your phone. And it collapses down, man. It is so wonderful, man. So check it out, powaudio.com. And man, just tell them that TJ sent you, man. Timothy, thank you very much. Great name, by the way. Thank you for the $5. He says, I hear the references of Peyton Manning and dominant defense, but nobody remembers Brock Osweiler won like 8 games. Yep. Bruh. Oh, man. Tim, that's a great point. That is a great point there. But Peyton Manning ended up getting injured. That's the reason why Brock Osweiler came up, and then Brock Osweiler got himself some money in the process, which we all know it ended up being smoke and mirrors. But, I mean, that's a very, very good point. But the only difference is that Peyton Manning got hurt. Now, if Drew Brees just so happened to get hurt, which I don't want to see that happen, then we can talk about that. But, Tim, thank you very much for the $5. And thank you very much for tuning in to the State of the Saints podcast. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?